left is Brandon Grimm.
I'm number one.
And all the way
I can't even see my shirt.
All the way at Ops on a space station. Look, it's Adam Meredith.
Yeah.
Mr. Squeaky.
They need to get those chairs on Ops fixed.
I know.
What is happening there?
Well, Brian needs to get those replicators back online.
It's just those crappy Cardassian chairs. You can't do anything.
Yeah, there's ones that look like the weird little buckets on a pedestal.
Well, it's good to see everybody. Thanks for popping in. If you're watching live, thanks for watching this after the fact. If you're doing that, we're bringing back Star Trek Club. We've been threatening this for a really long time, and we're finally making it happen. Not sure exactly how often this is going to happen. We're shooting for at least twice a month. If these guys are available on Tuesdays, we might make it even closer to weekly. I'll talk to these guys. We'll see what we're able to accomplish with this. We're going to do 2.5 full seasons of Deep Space Nine. Well, 2.5 full. 2.5 seasons, so 2 full seasons of Deep Space Nine, and the back half of season 5 starting off. We're going to watch all the way through the Dominion War, 2 episodes at a time, and we're not just going to watch the kind of highlight, like, major event episodes. We're just going to start in a place and knock the rest of the series out. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and Brandon has never seen all of the Dominion War. I'm sure you'll recognize a lot of episodes as we go through from stuff we saw in our old Star Trek Club. But kicked around going all the way to the beginning of 5, but Adam and I were talking about it, and he suggested the 2-parter that starts with In Purgatory Shadow, which is a real smart place to start, because that's basically when the ground really gets... or I should say, the foundation really gets set for the actual war proper. There's a lot of kind of rumblings, and it feels like something's probably going to happen with them, but they are more or less a kind of like secondary background villain up to this point, and then it starts to look a lot more like an impending event is about to happen.
Yeah, there's like 2.5 seasons of them being like a looming threat basically over everything, and then this is when I guess it finally pops off.
There's a term.
Adam March says didn't want to start with any of the foundational stuff. I understand, though, starting where you are. I mean, the thing is, we could just keep going back and back and back until you finally go, let's just watch the entire series. And that struck me as unrealistic. So like I said, it was between starting at the very beginning of 5 and starting here. And most of the folks that are going to watch this with us, I would assume, have probably seen it already anyway. Part of the reason I wanted to do it like this, too, is just on a selfish note. This is a little self-indulgent of me. But doing this is real nostalgic for me, because this was the first in order Star Trek anything I watched with my wife. So I introduced Sarah to Star Trek with TNG with some disparate episodes. She latches on real hard to Klingons, Klingon language, all of that stuff. And then at this period in time, so we're talking 2003 into 2004, box sets were new and very expensive. And I got lucky and found, and this won't sound like a deal now, but it really was back then, I found just DS9's 6 and 7 for $35 a piece at some a video game, mom and pop video game movie place. And I was like, well, I'm not passing that up. So I went ahead and bought those. And so Sarah and I watched through just 6 and 7, and she had not seen an episode of Deep Space Nine. So for Sarah, for the longest time, 6 and 7 were this show. So the Dominion War was this show for her. And honestly, I had never seen all of it. I had watched kind of hit and miss, all the way around the series. So I think I'd seen the finale. I think I knew how it ended, and I knew, what the Dominion War was, and a lot of those episodes. But I'd never watched it all the way through. And it's kind of odd how watchable it is, kind of as its own show, the Dominion War. But it's still better to start back a little bit before 6, because you are right in the middle of a cliffhanger with that. And seeing Martok's introduction, I think is very useful, and and to get some of the stuff with Garrick here, and et cetera, et cetera. So this does seem to be the right place to start. For anybody that is watching this with us that has never seen it before, you will be a little bit in the deep end, and that's why I'm going to ask Adam before we start to give us just a little bit of a rundown of like the major like story points and elements that you probably need before this, if you've not seen much DS9 or if you haven't seen much of 5. Like, at least recap the stuff getting us from like 4 into 5, I would say,
Right.
and like where we're at with especially like the Dominion and the relationship with the Klingons and all that stuff.
Right. So it started off with, really started with, there was like rumblings, but in the end of season 2, they introduced Cisco goes to, a planet with Jake and Nog, and for like a field trip basically, and runs into the Jim Hadar, and that's kind of how it all starts and stuff. But so then that leads into the 2-part episode that starts season 3, where they try to go rescue Cisco, and in the process, a whole bunch of stuff happens where basically the Federation fleet that goes to find him gets destroyed. Then they try to go and parlay with them, and then they wind up getting like this whole thing where they're like, they found out that Odo's people are actually the founders, the head of the Dominion and stuff. So, and there's a whole thing where there's people are where the crew is put in like a suspended animation, and they think they're like doing some peace treaty, and it's not really happening and stuff. But then they wind up getting let go, and then after that I
forgot all about that. Don't you hate it when that happens?
Yeah.
You forget stuff.
Basically, and then that's all happening. Kira and Odo are like, Odo's having his little, look at me, I'm back home. I'm trying to. I'm shape-shifting around craft and stuff. Look at that. Testing out. I'm in the link and all this stuff. And then he finds all his buddies locked in a cell or whatever in suspended animation. And like, what? But, so then after that, it's like all of season 3, there's a little rumble. It's like a threat in the background. It's like a Cold War, basically, more or less. And there's little times that they interact with the Dominion and the Jem'Hadar, but it's not really open conflict or anything like that. Then at the end of season, and while this is happening, they're like working behind the scenes, the Dominion is, to basically make sow discord in the Alpha Quadrant, make all the species start mistrusting each other and stuff. And part of that involves the Klingons believe that there's like some political unrest on Cardassia and a government change. And the Klingons believe that it's because the founders have infiltrated, taken place various high-level Cardassians and taken over the government or whatever by pretending to be them and stuff. And so then they invade Cardassia and start a whole war with them, and then that causes the Federation and the Klingons to have a conflict and stuff after, a century basically of peace, and
which is what we do right when we introduce Worf into the series.
Right, exactly. So
the big surprise ending of the big 2-parter at the beginning of 4 is we're not in war with the Klingons, but we don't have the treaty that we have with them. We don't have the relationship anymore. Right, and as Worf comes in. Basically,
then a conflict kind of with the Cardassians or with the Klingons, kind of. It's like a low-level conflict. It's not, like you said, not exactly fighting, but it's not exactly, peace.
And the Klingons are always on the verge of their own civil war, so...
Yeah, and then that gets resolved because they, also there's a whole thing where Odo is, like, taken back to the Great Link and turned into a solid because he kills a shapeshifter at one point, one of his own people, and that's like ape law. Ape shall never kill ape or whatever. Don't violate that. Also, it's really not Odo's fault. He kind of just throws the guy on the warp core, which seems very in the Defiant, which seems very unsafe. That just touching that thing could kill you, but
I forgot that's how it happened.
But he turns into powder. But
Now I forget he doesn't have his powers back by where we're at yet, right?
I think he
Or has
might
he?
by this point, because
It all runs together for me. It's
that
been so
happens.
long.
Then they have to go undercover. So then also Ducat's like waging a one-man war basically, because he got demoted and he's kind of fighting the good fight against the Klingons himself, him and Damar and all these people. So
And
then
I
they
think
go
in a Klingon ship.
Yeah, he takes over a Klingon bird of prey by doing the Kirk switcheroo with the transporter, basically, and stuff.
So he's just like Kirk in Star Trek 3.
Blows them up on his old
He's got a Klingon ship.
cargo ship or whatever it is that he's flying around in and stuff. And then while that happens, he actually takes Cisco and a whole team pretending to be Klingons to a Klingon celebration or whatever, deep inside Klingon space in that ship.
And that's how this season opens.
Yeah, and then they uncover that Martok, who we'll see in this episode, the real Martok, the Martok who we'd been seeing the whole time, was was the changeling.
Yeah, so this will in fact be the episode we're about to watch will be our first real appearance of Martok, but Hertzler has played a shapeshifter pretending to be Martok before, and
actually it's not 100%. I don't remember. Yeah, it is. I was thinking in Way of the Warrior, is that shapeshifter Martok too?
No, it is.
I think it is. It's got to be shapeshifter Martok.
When we meet him here, he's been in this prison for a while.
Right. He didn't know about the yeah, that's right.
So that's just important to note, is that this is actually the first time we'll really meet him, and he's going to be a major player from here all the way to the end.
Also, there was a whole thing where some crazy admiral on Earth tried to stage a coup against the Federation.
See, I thought about starting there
because
that was another thing I thought about.
Thought they had the same thing where the founders had infiltrated the Federation.
That's Paradise.
Also.
Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost. And I think that's pretty much it. Odo gets his shape-shifting ability back because that baby founder embryo that he raises dies, but gives him the gift of being able to shapeshift again. He absorbs it into his body or whatever and stuff, and that's kind of how he got that back. And I think that's happening.
In minor spoilers, because again, I don't think a lot of people will watch this being totally clueless, but that was a nice recap to refresh us all. I should note that for those of you that are that know some things about Dominion more, but don't know right where we're launching in, the Cardassians are not part of the Dominion yet.
No, they're not. Oh, and there's a whole other thing where the Cardassians and the Romulans tried to kill all of the founders by launching a sneak attack on them and stuff, and then one of the Romulans turned out to be a shapeshifter, and he betrayed them or whatever, and they get annihilated.
What's funny is it's easy to forget that just this many episodes of covert shape-shifting things happen, because they're few and far between. There's so much that happens in between them.
Right.
But if you watched them all in order, you'd think this was a completely different show that was just about espionage.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of
Captain's Cut of DS9.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, thank you for that recap.
No
I want to
problem.
go ahead and launch into it. My wife and Jason are watching. Hi, you guys. Thanks for watching with us. And didn't want to get everybody on these shows, because that's a lot of people talking at the same time. And we're starting late enough they might have to go to bed before we finish. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. And like I said, we're going to do this as often as we can. And Brandon, excited to get your reaction response to this as we go through, as you finally see these episodes in order.
Yeah.
So here we go. We're starting with in a somewhat depressing place in the first place, but this is a pretty exciting episode.
Yes.
Adam Art says, "Good recap, Adam. Good job, Adam."
Thanks.
Everybody's proud of Adam. Okay, here we go. We're gonna start with In Purgatory's Shadow is the first episode, right, of this two-parter. So we're starting with that. We're going to watch both episodes tonight, and then we'll give our ratings. Since these are titled separately, I think we should probably rate them separately.
Right.
So we'll do that one at a time, and that'll break this up a little bit. And we'll like we always do with Star Trek Club. But this time we're going to actually watch some stuff in order instead of spinning the wheel. And if this goes well, if people enjoy this, we might down the road do this also with Zindi War, but that'll probably be, a couple of years because I don't know how long this will take us.
We'll have to go through that box and pull out all these episodes we watched and stuff if you still have, with all the wheel
the slips
list.
of paper that we had.
Well, we weren't doing that with the slip, so we had the digital wheel.
Yes, no, I remember that.
Oh, that's right. We got rid of the paper. I forgot about that.
No, we never did that. No one knows what you're talking about. We did that for our physical club, but not online.
Oh, okay.
It's been so long. Adam doesn't.
That online too.
Adam doesn't even not for the live show. When it was live, it was like because we would take requests via superchat, and I would digitally put them on the wheel.
But when you were at the old house.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't live.
Oh, not live.
That wasn't this show.
That was a recording. That's right. That wasn't a live show. That's right.
Yeah. But that wasn't even called Star Trek Club. I mean, that was back when we were doing Treknado and all of that.
Yes.
It was Treknado.
Yeah, that was a different thing. Anyway, at least it was
Trek to me.
At least it was branded differently. It was branded differently. Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, let's get into it. Everybody, please. Oh, you know what? I didn't set up a timer. It's gonna take too long to do it. I will make sure and do that for the next show. If you need a timestamp, just let us know in the chat. Sorry that I forgot to do that. But let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. Okay, right off, Adam, do you know who Derek Garth is?
Sorry, I gotta adjust the volume on this. What was that?
This opens with "In memory of Derek Garth," and I don't know right away who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah. That's not a name I'm familiar with.
Oh, okay, so he just got his powers back.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. I couldn't remember if it was right before this or right after this. So he's got all of his weird furniture back in his quarters.
Yes.
So when I go back to this show, it is shocking to me just how long it takes for them to start building a romance with these characters.
Right.
Because it seems obvious to me pretty early, even before they knew for sure they were doing that.
Right. Yeah, and he confesses way back in season 3, basically, to that female shapeshifter pretending to be Kira in that episode where she was pretending to be trapped in the crystal or whatever it was and stuff, and that was way back in season 3.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just seems like they keep kind of checking back in on it occasionally, like right here when he's talking about romance.
Yeah.
So they just happen to need both Kira and Odo, who happen to be together in the same room.
I guess so.
That happens a lot, doesn't
it,
in Star Trek?
It really does.
She must have had
storytelling, Brandon.
Miles and Keiko's baby recently or whatever.
Just once I'd like them to call like 2 different people and they're in 2 different rooms, so you have to go back and forth.
I'm sorry, Adam, were you talking about the O'Brien thing?
Yeah, I think she must have just done that because she's still wearing the maternity kind of uniform.
You know, that's one of those subplots that sounds insane and ridiculous on paper that kind of worked out.
It worked out, yeah. It was just like, what do we do? Basically, this is the extenuating circumstances, but it kind of worked.
Yeah, very strange way to write in a pregnancy with a character that's not dating anybody.
Yeah.
I wonder who that could be.
I've seen way more convoluted things in genre shows to make pregnancies happen.
Boy, Odo looks really unsure of
So
going on.
hilariously, we're looking at, I want to say, our third actress already
Third
playing
actress.
Zial, and we will keep with her for the rest of the show.
This is the one, that they kept with.
And I think the other two are just in one-off episodes. Like when we first meet her, it's an actress, and then the
Yeah.
next time it's a different actress.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam Arch says Derek Garth was a grip.
Oh, a grip.
It's cool that they have enough respect for folks working on the show that they would even dedicate an episode to a grip.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta appreciate that.
Exactly.
Is that foreshadowing? I feel like that's foreshadowing.
So this is one of those episodes that doesn't come up very much in the conversation of great Garrick episodes, but it definitely should, or at least the next one.
What's your timestamp? I lost where I was at. Something came on here.
What did you do? What happened? 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Adam Art says the first Zial was in 2 episodes. Oh, okay. Was she really?
Yeah, I think so.
See, that was one of those things that really surprised me because, again, I watched 6 and 7 and then went back and saw some stuff I'd never seen before. So, like, that was one of those episodes that I was missing for the longest time where I didn't even realize until I finally watched all the way from 1 to 7. So, like, I didn't even realize that Ducat, like went and got her.
Yes.
That's a cool episode.
That was what led to his, like, getting demoted because
his downfall.
He took her back to Cardassia, and then it was scandal, basically.
That's it.
So I'm part of this Facebook group called Attention Bajoran Workers. So it'll be nice to know what that's like. I loosely know kind of what that's about, but
we did that episode on Star Trek Club. You've seen that with us.
Yeah,
that was season 3, I want to say.
Are you guys in the title sequence right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just got Rene Auberjonois.
Michael Dorn.
Oh, okay, let me skip this ahead. I'm behind you. There.
Terry Farrell.
There.
It's been a while since I've watched any Star Trek stretched out on a widescreen.
I think next time I might get my disc out, because I'm trying to use the stupid Paramount Plus thing, and it's not.
That's what I did.
Weird and stuff, you know.
No, I'm not doing that, or there's no chance we're gonna be able to get through a show.
Yeah.
Brandon and I are kind of forced to use Paramount Plus for the new Trek show we're doing on Patreon, and we already had it break down on us in the first episode. We got halfway through and it just shut down.
That's why I was trying to turn the subtitles on, and it stops the episode. You know, ridiculous.
Are you still dealing with it, or are you good?
No, I'm good now. I'm with him, Garrick and Bashir. Yeah, see, look, I'm glad I brought that up because they're talking about that with the maybe survivors of that incident. And also in Nabretaine, Garrick's father is involved in this episode. I just remembered, so I guess it was good that we recapped that too.
I feel like there's places where you can kind of tell when Garrick is lying.
Yeah.
I can't really tell you what exactly the tells are, but maybe honestly it's just in plotting. It's just in what they give him to say. Because there will be places like with this where he protests a little bit too much, and I'm not even complaining. Like I really buy Bashir going, yeah, you wouldn't give up on that, and you're trying to make people buy that, but it's obvious to anybody that knows him really well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
How long have we had the First Contact uniforms now? Is it just this
That
season?
was introduced in this season halfway through, and actually, that's
So
a
we
plot
just
point
got it.
here. Well, I don't. Do you want me to spoil? I won't spoil it, but it'll come up here in a kind of. That just happened in the past few episodes.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, let's not spoil it in case people
Yeah,
are
not
watching with us
spoil
that,
it.
that don't know. But yeah.
Like me.
Like Brandon. It's a fake.
So these will be straight up watch parties. For anybody that hasn't done these with us before, we're obviously not preparing for these.
Yeah.
We've got one guy that hasn't seen some of this. I haven't watched the stuff in a while, and Adam watches a Deep Space Nine episode before he goes to bed every night.
No, I don't. But I watched this.
I know this is
through early last year, or we had been, Stephanie and I had been watching it over a couple of years, but we wrapped it up last year. So that's probably when I saw this most.
So it's relatively fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
I like the interplay. It's been
Brandon.
said many times before, but between Garrick and Bashir, they play off each other really well. But I like how this just played out, where Bashir gets him to go to Cisco, because, like, I always feel like Cisco is just on the verge of letting them do
Punching someone in the face.
Well, that,
Yeah,
but also
always.
letting them do whatever they want.
Oh.
He always seems like he like wants it to be able to happen, even if he says no.
And that's the difference between Cisco and Picard. Is that obviously he's a lot quicker to like break the rules or bend them. Or,
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's out in cowboy territory at the edge of space, basically.
That's true, which gives him a little bit more leeway
Uh-huh.
to act that way, of course.
It's the wild, wild west of.
But it's also the difference in jobs, isn't it?
Yes.
Like running a town is a lot different from running a train or something.
Right. Yeah, he's got to play a little more loose, I guess, in that way.
I feel like you can fudge to Starfleet a little bit better too.
Yeah, DS9, it really is like it's a wild.
Okay,
west
so Adam,
town
sorry,
thing.
this has always driven me insane, and
Mhm.
it's even more noticeable these days because of the way we deal with music in our modern world. But anytime you have something in Star Trek that's on like physical media, it just drives me nuts. Where she's like, "Well, you're not getting your Klingon operas back until I know you're safe."
Right.
And I'm like, why can't he just play them in the shuttlecraft?
Yeah. Make copies of them, like, not that hard.
I feel like they should have seen that. That was I guess, kind of a lack of foresight by the writers, because even in the 90s, I feel like, I mean, even before digital stuff, people were making copies on cassette tape that shared it with people and stuff.
And also, regardless of all of that, it's just inconsistent with the technology as it is in the show.
I know.
Because in just in 24th century Star Trek, because we constantly will like bring up, you know, things in databases and play them.
Right, exactly.
You know? And it's not like we don't have access to Klingon stuff because we've been allies with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't know. That's like it's a little sillier even than
the pad thing.
Well, no, I was gonna say the stupid thing in season 7 with Nog and Jake, where Nog keeps playing the same song over and over again, is driving Jake crazy. And I'm like, why doesn't he just tell him to put on headphones? Well, they don't have
That's
headphones.
true. Why don't
in
they
the
have
24th
headphones?
century?
I don't think I've ever seen headphones in Star Trek.
Why don't they have that?
I mean, we've seen gear and stuff, but like, I mean, Uhura wears that
thing in her
little
ear.
earpiece.
Yeah.
That's about it. It's like Bluetooth before Bluetooth.
Yeah, Bluetooth.
Plush DX says not the best at predicting tech. Should have used a parental lock instead.
Yeah.
That's the thing is Star Trek always gets so much credit for the technologies that it predicted that we already have now. But let's not underestimate all the stuff it gets wrong too.
Right.
Self-sealing stem
To,
bolts.
to discredit it and make it not fun to watch? No, because it's hilarious. DS9 is always real. Well, I say always. Sometimes it's not, especially in 7. Much of the time, it's really good at integrating these romantic subplots into the main drama, the A stories.
Yeah.
Like this all feels really heavy and like big stuff's about to go down, but we're also dealing with like a lot of romantic relationships, and I guess the reason it's working is because since you have this kind of potential war brewing, impending doom, everybody's afraid of what's going to happen to their significant others.
Right.
But I guess what I'm saying is it makes it not soap opera-ish, where we don't lose.
Right.
We get the personal stakes make us care about the grander universal stakes or galactic stakes, I should say.
Right.
Alpha Quadrant stakes.
Yeah.
Because it's not even the whole galaxy; it's just a quarter of it, really.
Right.
It is weird, though, the way we always talk about it, where, like, and I get it, but where the Dominion wants to take over the Alpha Quadrant, because keep in mind that the station is sitting right in between two quadrants. So...
I thought Earth was sitting between two quadrants.
I thought the station was...
I think the station is more in the Alpha Quadrant, I thought.
Is it even further in?
I
thought it was right
Earth is like
Alpha
the dividing between the Beta and the Alpha Quadrant, I think. If I'm remembering correctly. But even that, it's like, there's like, if you look at like the maps they've made, there's still like huge sections of the Alpha Quadrant and Beta Quadrant that's never been like explored or really shown or anything and stuff. This is really kind of localized into a little area.
But it always seems like the whole galaxy's on the line.
Yeah.
So, this relationship with Zial and Garrick, that will go all the way to close to the end of the show. I guess I should be careful not to give too much stuff away, but just being here in the middle of 5, I'm surprised by... We do get a lot of status quo changes, but I'm surprised by some of the things that we're setting up here that just remind me of specific scenes, like 2 seasons from now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking particularly about a big thing with the argument that Dukat and Kira have about Zial.
Right.
Which is quite a bit later from here, I think.
It's the beginning of 6, I think.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
With her going to the art institute.
Yeah.
So I feel like Worf becomes so much more of a badass in DS9 than he ever was in TNG.
This is another place where we should be able to tell that he's lying.
Yeah.
But because it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that he's just goading Worf.
Yeah.
It's great. And their relationship kind of evolves in a real subtle way.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Like, I don't think Worf ever full on respects him. Full on likes him, but maybe he comes to like a tiny bit of respect as time goes along.
Right, exactly.
Certainly never going to trust him.
Mm-hmm.
You're already an asset.
I'll skip the lower ranks.
Like cute.
Yeah.
What would have been great is if you'd walked in here wearing a Starfleet uniform.
Yeah, because he makes them, remember? Even though they can just replicate them.
If you don't have that line, this feels like a wasted scene, even though it's fun. And he said, look, I have to practice. I have to practice my deception. It's great. So Worf is, I think, unequivocally a racist, and I think most Klingons are. Which sounds racist of me to say, but I think it's true. I think most Klingons are racist against Romulans, and I think the reason, the initial reason that, besides just the obvious, like he's not honorable because the way he's always lying, I think Worf doesn't like Garrick because he reminds him of Romulans.
Yeah,
perhaps deception.
He acts like with their scheming and stuff.
Oh, your girlfriend's in the comment in the
Oh, my fiance.
your fiance.
Mhm.
Your fiance is still your girlfriend.
She is, and I joke about that every once in a while.
Mm.
And you're not.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm.
I mean, that was a little bit racist to say too. Just, I mean, it might be true, but
Well, yes, but Kira is unabashedly that way.
oh, that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
but she's also come from.
She was a
occupied-
terrorist.
Yeah,
She's
she's
Right.
from occupied Bejor.
That's the difference between her and O'Brien. Is O'Brien doesn't want to think of himself as racist against the Cardassians. Kira just is and is comfortable with that.
Well, wasn't O'Brien?
Yeah.
Didn't he largely just
But
fight to survive?
She also, well, yeah, but you go back to the Wounded, and that's the theme of that episode. Is
Yeah.
he looks at them all the same?
That's
and
true.
He can't
I
help
have
but do
seen
that.
that
That's the point I'm making. But
Right.
with Kira, she's kind of proving a racism and the opposite all at the same time. Because if she was truly full on racist, she wouldn't even help Zial.
Right.
She's Cardassian.
Exactly.
Right.
They're both just bringing their A game in the scene.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Well, that time is not anymore.
This is a rockin' script. Did you see?
Yeah.
Well, that took a lot of energy out
Did
of
you
it.
see writing credits at the beginning of this? Because
Yeah,
I
it
missed
was
it.
Bear and Robert Hewlett Wolf.
Okay. I figured Bear had to have at least had story credit.
Yeah. They always added this thing like in the
Why is it always
middle of the
connected?
runabout
Right.
set later on. That's it looks like the tactical thing on the Enterprise D kind
Yeah,
of a little
why
bit.
do you
and
need
stuff.
that thing?
I don't know. Or it might be the transporter control. I don't know back then.
Well, there's a panel next to the transporter.
Yeah, so I don't know why they have that thing.
They just need one more big bulky thing to have to walk around.
And then they used to have the little windows open on the sides, but then I think they gave up on that and just had these like blast shutter things closed all the time and stuff.
Can I just say that this runabout has a beautiful interior? I think it just looks really sleek.
Yeah, it does look good.
Like, I
So
wouldn't
good
mind
that they
having a
just
computer set up
Reused
that
it
looked
in
like that.
Insurrection and changed the lighting.
But it does look a lot more crowded when you start putting random crap in the middle of it.
Yeah, random
that
crap.
has no business being there.
Yeah. It's crazy that we never got to see the back except for that one TNG episode. They built that whole set and they never used it again for Deep Space Nine, you know?
Oh, yeah. Hey, quick plug, because I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show, but Brandon and I are going to stick around after this show tonight for our Patreon show. Cap loves Brandon, because I do. I love
You
Brandon.
can't see it, but I'm doing a hand.
And we're gonna have a fun conversation at the beginning about whatever Brandon wants to talk about. I don't know what his topic is yet.
I got the topic.
It may or may not be Star Trek related. It probably won't be. And then we're gonna watch.
Tangentially.
And then we're gonna watch the second episode of Star Trek Discovery. And see if we can make any sense of that. So pop in and hang out with us if you're so inclined. Just the $2 tier, patreon.com/geekvolution gives you
All it
access
requires.
to that. You can watch it live with us. We will be live streaming that, or you can watch it after the
Oh, here it is.
fact. My commercial
Oh,
is
look,
now
it's the
complete.
Mutara Nebula.
Yeah, they reused that. It was.
They love those
reused
colors.
The nebulas like this were often done in big water tanks at
Yeah.
ILM.
I think this part was CG at this point.
It might have
here.
been at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, there is quite a bit of CG ship stuff by now. And to be fair, there's all kinds of stuff they do in the show that you can't do with just models.
That's
and I
right.
think there were still a blend of sometimes of models and CG. But we may already be in the point in the series where it's rarely model work. I don't
I think a
actually
lot
know
of
that.
it is CG at this point, except for just stock shots that they already had, like
Sure.
the station, the Defiant, and things like that. I think by this point they had done pretty much a lot of transfer.
Dead Stop is retroactively an Enterprise episode title.
Uh-oh.
I was gonna say
Oh.
I thought that was a first-person POV shot.
Have you ever noticed? I don't know if it's still like this, but earlier in the show, when they were doing special effects shots, still with models at times, for some reason the frame rate was faster on those scenes than 24 frames a second for the film and stuff.
Well, it always looks like it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So speaking of the CGI and stuff, so it seems to me like a lot of Star Trek CGI, not all of it, but a lot of it holds up well better than a lot of other properties' CGI.
Yeah,
even
I think
movie stuff.
Kind of combined it with the model stuff, and I don't know why. It definitely, I think it holds up better than the CG on Babylon 5.
Yeah, no, exactly. Stuff like that. Like I look at this and I'm like, I still think that looks highly believable.
It's the combination of it, because when you get to Enterprise, that stops being true. There's a lot of really shoddy. There's some okay stuff. There's some really shoddy, awful, unconvincing CG ship stuff in Enterprise. Going all the way through, but particularly in the first couple of seasons. And then some of the overly ambitious stuff they do when they really have no money.
Yeah.
But then they do some stuff that looks shockingly cool, like that bit in fourth season where you have the Enterprise and the Columbia like right up against each other.
Yeah.
One's upside down on top of the other one. That stuff looks awesome. Or at least I remember it looking really good.
Wait till we get there and you're like, this looks awful.
Oh my god. Why did I say that?
Like, you remember that time when you said this?
This is crazy that the Jim Hadar just parked their runabout outside this asteroid. Like, why did they leave it there? Why did they...
It's super noticeable.
Is this the Phil Morris Jim Hadar, or is that a different episode?
No, that's the second episode where they're stranded on a planet. And
okay.
That's the one where they're like...
In the desert?
Yeah, and it's the one where they like launch their little feudal attack and they all just get shot, basically.
Is that the one with the... This will be this whole show is just... Do you remember the one where... Is that the one with the like dying Vorta?
Yes.
That's
and then that's the guy that they use as a prisoner exchange in the Magnificent Ferengi, and then he gets shot for real that time.
So, am I misremembering, or do the Jim Hadar look vaguely like the Hirogen from Voyager?
Yeah, more like the Hirogen look kind of like that, right? Because they were
right. They were
the Hirogen.
Yeah, they look similar.
They kind of look similar, yeah.
Similar.
Yeah, the Hirogen I've always thought that too. The Hirogen are a little bit less lizard looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I didn't realize that we watched like the first Hirogen episode recently. When they first show them, they're like football linebacker size guys and stuff. They're huge, and then like after that, they're just like normal size.
Yeah.
And then like with most Star Trek races, they start looking a little bit like, I mean, they've got bigger guys, but the makeup is thinner.
Right.
And then they bulk it out as they go. And they did the same thing with the Cardassians, too.
Yeah.
Like, the Cardassians look kind of anorexic when we first meet them.
I think the reason, and they said the reason why their neck is like this is because Mark Alamo played the very first Cardassian, and he's got a crazy neck. And they based the whole makeup off of that, basically, for everybody else.
So what is that a little station down there, or just their ship?
No, that's the space. That's the prison.
The
colony
prison
or whatever.
That holds up great too.
Yeah, no, it looked great.
Yeah, I think that might have been model stuff, maybe.
But okay, let's also talk about the model to CGI is nearly seamless in places, and that holds up way better than other things that did the same thing.
Yeah, and like you used to do that kind of thing sometimes even with a matte painting.
Mm-hmm.
And
although Star Trek's matte paintings have a way of standing out poorly sometimes.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that looks better than it would have if we did it that way. But
like the one matte painting they reused for Voyager over and over.
So yeah, Brandon, when you said, since we're talking about just visual stuff, you mentioned aspect ratio earlier. I don't know why the TV we're watching this on, because we're not projecting this right now. I'm using a smaller TV, and I don't know why this TV stretches it. It's not
Just a
horribly
setting.
noticeable. It looks okay.
It's not terrible. It's just
it's
some
actually
things that
kind
I
of
know would be
better
round with
than the
egg
bars
shape.
and the sides. But yeah, it'd be nice if we could get full-on remasters of this show, like we did with TNG. And I mean, it would still be 4:3.
Right.
Like, you'd never be able to get it into a widescreen aspect ratio without screwing with the frame too much. But this show was never popular enough. Like, I don't think we'll ever get it.
It was too expensive when they did TNG. They lost money on that. That was done still right at the height of Blu-ray popularity. So that's why they did it and stuff. But now it's.
I will say,
and they put it on broadcast, and they were hoping for okay numbers with that. And there's no real incentive now.
Right.
You put that on a streaming service, and it's not going to get enough more people to subscribe to it.
Martok is the best Klingon.
So really quickly,
Worf doesn't really act like a Klingon. Martok is.
And sorry, can I just say that's objectively true? Like, I don't know. I don't unless you're a huge fan of like TOS Klingons, I don't think you can argue with that. Like,
no.
Unless you're just a really big Krug fan.
He embodies Klingons, like the very best of them. That's
But I'm sorry, we're gonna say. Brandon?
I've seen episodes where they're in this penal colony, and I did not know how they got here. Now I know exactly how they got here.
When you say episodes, maybe you've seen the next episode without this for context, because this is just a two-parter.
Just a two. Then it's the next episode, but I never saw the first part. Where they
this is Garrick's father,
where he sings he sings the ballad about the Cardassian, and it's like he's like, I don't think it would look very good if I cut out on you and didn't finish this task in the small space.
So that's Garrick's father, Enabran Tain. He was the head of the Obsidian Order, which is like the secret police of Cardassia. Gotcha. And he joined up with the Tal Shiar of Romulus. And they launched this sneak attack that I talked about earlier, and got their asses handed to them, basically, and stuff.
It's a big revelation earlier on when we find out that Enabran Tain is his father, and at the same time we find out what Garrick's first name is, because Garrick talks about himself like he's two different people. He talks about Enabran Tain and Elam, and then you find out that he is in fact Elam. But that's all the way back in what, second season?
3.
Is it 3? Okay, it's early.
I think it's 3. Yeah, it's got to be 3 because they introduced the Jem'Hadar at the end of 2.
Okay. Again, I'm rusty. I forgot where it was, but I knew it was quite a bit earlier than this.
Well, that's a pretty bleak outlook. You were talking about, we'd never get a widescreen version of this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that AI is just about, to a point where it could scale things automatically and extrapolate. They do a pretty good job on some things, and I think in 10 years it could absolutely flesh out a TNG or.
I mean, all it would do is add sides to the room,
and I get that,
but it's already framed for 4x3,
and it would. But I'm not saying I wouldn't not take that.
I think it would just make everything look bunched together if they did that.
Perhaps it could maybe even fill in just random outside characters just milling around. I don't know what that would look like, but it'd be interesting to see.
I wish Kira could have given us a damn it right there, but it might have been a little over the top. Not soon enough, damn it! Not soon enough!
Or Cisco give us the line must be drawn here, no further.
I was going to say, I'm surprised Cisco's jumping to that as quick as he is.
Cisco's crazy. Episode before
wow, that's a nice bit of continuity. Did you catch that when he brought up Professor Khan?
Yeah.
Good stuff. That is the same character, right? The female Trill that was in love with with Dax, or is that yet another person named Khan?
No, it's got to be that. It's the Dax, the woman that she had the relationship.
Pretty sure
with.
that's who that is. Yeah. I did not remember her coming up here. That's cool, and we'll
Because
never see her again. And that actress is fantastic. I wish they used her again.
Was it Tranya?
Lenara Khan?
Lenara Khan.
Heck yeah, man. Meanwhile, on the asteroid,
So like, yeah, Cisco's crazy. The episode before this was the one where he poisoned the planet.
Is that the one where he tries to destroy a whole race of people?
Oh dear.
You know what? We should have started there on principle. Although I think we did that in Star Trek Club.
We did that in Star Trek Club, and it has my favorite line when he goes to Eddington. You betrayed your uniform.
Was that one that we let you pick, or did that actually come up on the wheel?
I think I picked that, maybe. I don't remember. It might have come up on the wheel.
I don't remember anymore.
And everybody's like, that's a cool, ingenious solution to that problem.
So the one time I met J.G. Hertzler at a con, I went up to ask a question, and I got really nervous, and I accidentally called him HG. And I got made fun of by him and the guy that plays Nog, and a couple other people. I were like, he's not H.G. Wells, and they wouldn't leave me alone about it. And it was really funny.
Oh, that was the big reveal there. So the Bashir back on the station is the changeling.
Is not actually Bashir. Yeah.
And see, he's wearing the old.
He's got the old uniform.
Still, so it's been a few months.
Because they've got actual attention to detail in this show. It's wonderful.
So they actually. And
that gives you a sense of time that he's been here a while,
right?
Yeah.
Because the uniforms got flipped a few episodes back.
So the first episode where they wear the new uniform.
Conference for that?
Is the one
conference for burn treatment?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
The first episode where they wear the new uniform is the one where Cisco goes crazy. But he sees the visions, like, the visions! They sure must stand alone! And they have to do the operation on them. So that means that the shapeshifter is the one that did the operation on Cisco.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a retroactive choice. They didn't know about that yet. And then it's got kind of that 24 thing where now that we know he's a bad guy, he's acting like a bad guy.
Yeah, he starts smiling.
He's got
this wry smile.
But like even because he's by himself there, so you could say okay, but I'm pretty sure when he starts interacting with people, he's just gonna be acting kind of evil and nobody notices.
Yeah.
I'm evil. No, I'm kidding. It's not terrible.
He brought sandwiches to Ops.
Yeah, they're in that cool pit thing.
Oh, that's a lie.
Falser words were never spoken, Julian.
Adam, I'm loving all the Lauren continuity in this episode. Did you catch Kang's Summit?
Kang's Summit.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. I was hunting saber bear on Kang's Summit.
Do you buy that Kang was a big enough deal he'd get his own summit?
Oh yeah, he's a Dharma Master.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell that means.
Whatever that means. I'm like, I'm so glad I'm watching this with you. This is gonna be wonderful.
A little 90s trivia for you. This woman that plays the owl was on Seinfeld, and she was the woman that saw George after he had been in the pool with the shrinkage.
Oh my god!
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've not seen enough of that show.
I know that episode.
And Zial ends up weirdly being one of our classic, like, half and half characters.
Yeah.
She's oddly got a bit of a Spock thing going on.
Yeah.
Which world does she really belong in?
It works better with this actress, but when they started with the other actress, it was kind of weird with her and Garrick, that she looked too young to be with him, kind of, and stuff. But it works better here, I think.
What's funny about it is, I don't know how old they thought she was in the first place, but I don't think she was supposed to be as old as she's being played now.
No.
So she ends up having a little bit of that Alexander thing.
Yeah.
Where even though she wasn't like a, little kid,
yeah,
it does sort of feel like she's aged like 5 or 7 years since we first met her. That's just what we do in Star Trek.
Yep.
And then I love that Orville did it too.
You don't want to know the answer.
With Topa.
Yes.
That's what they're doing. They're like, oh, he's Alexander.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I think that Dukat is the best villain in all of Star Trek. Like the most complicated, the most nuanced.
Yep. and that is why he is not an evil man.
And you are not an evil man. Is that in a waltz where he says that?
Yes. So good. We'll get to that.
So Garrick has daddy issues here. In so many words.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we'll never have a full-on comparison between him and Bashir in the ways that Bashir has daddy issues, but I'm not sure how well you could parallel that because they're very, very different relationships, but they both have big issues with their fathers.
Yes.
Yeah.
One who's like emotionally abusive, or manipulative, and the other who, manipulated DNA, eugenics-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know that yet, so... That comes later.
Yeah, I don't think that's happened yet.
No. Well, it has happened, but we don't know about it. Neither does the
right,
show.
Yeah, I don't.
But no, that's 6 where you get that. That's middle of 6.
I thought
Gotcha.
that was in 5.
No, that's in 6.
It's in 6.
I think. Am I wrong about that? I didn't think we got that till
They
later.
wear these uniforms in that episode. I know that, so it's got to be in the second half of this season if it is in 5.
I didn't think we got that till 6, but I could be wrong. No, you know what? I might be conflating it with the fact that the augments are in 6.
Yes.
That's probably what I'm
in
thinking.
6.
So we must get that in 5. Because is it Dr. Bashir, I presume, where we get it?
Yes.
Okay, no, that's 5. That's 5. Okay, so it either just happened or it's about to happen.
Okay. All your enemies are dead.
But yeah, I guess the only way you could really compare the daddy issues between the characters is just like their sons are a disappointment, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Adam March, it's hard to compare DuCont with someone like Khan as far as great villains go, series regular versus one episode in a movie. That's why, yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of hesitate to do that, where it's like, but I don't think it has to be fair to make the statement, you know what I mean? Where it's like...
Yeah.
We do get a lot more time, to full-on flesh him out and humanize him as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. But even compared to some of the other series villains, I guess, I definitely think he's definitely the most fleshed out.
Oh, dang, that's dark.
Mm-hmm.
And see, this scene doesn't play this way if Iris Stephen Beer isn't involved in the script.
Yeah.
And I just always appreciated the risks he would take and just how far he would take this stuff. And it's not gratuitous. Like, it has to go that dark.
Yeah.
Or it just doesn't ring true. And I've always said this about DS9, but you're really pushing these envelopes of just how dark we can explore the darkest parts of ourselves and still be Star Trek.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. I think it benefited.
It's easier to do that with alien races that aren't part of the Federation.
Mm-hmm. I think this show definitely benefited from the fact that it wasn't really. It was the redheaded stepchild, and Berman was too busy putting his fingers in Voyager and the movies and stuff to really pay attention to what was going on. I think on this show.
The big catch-22 with DS9 is you can tell that a lot of the people involved lamented that that their show wasn't as popular as TNG and Voyager, and of course Voyager had its massive ups and downs too.
Right.
But had it been anything like as big as TNG, it wouldn't have been as good of a show.
Yeah, they would have.
because to your point, it wouldn't have been allowed to have been.
No, there would have been more interference.
Can I just say that it seems very fitting for the relationship that Bashir was tacitly in on that conversation, like between Garrick and his father. It just seems like if there's anyone who maybe, Garrick would want to confide in later about that at all, or just know that somebody else knows what he went through, it would be Bashir.
Well, Bashir is brilliantly used throughout the show as kind of our humanizing character to appreciate Garrick and try to understand him on any kind of a human level.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. He'll understand.
So yeah, you absolutely have to have that.
Mm-hmm.
There he goes. Yeah, I always forget they actually try to do this, but it doesn't work because of the sabotage or whatever.
Sabotage.
Sabotage!
Sabotage.
There are too many Star Trek references about that word now. Stop saying sabotage.
They start good and they get worse.
On Paramount Plus, it just went over to this next episode playing when there's a whole minute left of this episode.
Oh boy, that's awful.
That's crazy. Yeah, I gotta switch to the discs. Or at least 30 seconds.
That's pretty exciting cliffhanger there.
Yeah.
Okay,
I remember seeing that one live.
I get hung up about this kind of stuff, and a lot of people probably won't care, but I gotta ask you how you feel about this, Adam. How do you feel about DS9 kind of going back and forth on when it uses the same name for a two-parter and when it changes them?
I'm okay with it. It's never really bothered me that much, I guess, and stuff. But yeah, they definitely. It's kind of weird. I guess it was just the writer's prerogative what they wanted to do on it and stuff.
It's only annoying to me for the sake of trivia and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'll want to write a trivia question where it's like, what two-parter? It's like, does In Purgatory, Shadow count? Does Paradise Lost count?
Yeah.
And their two-part episodes with the same title are very few and far between. Like usually they are separately titled, and then they'll get 3, 4, 5-parters, or what you could easily call that are all differently titled. And it's not until Enterprise that you get, like, honest to God, even though they have different titles, like 3-parters, but DS9 has some episodes that kind of should count for that.
Right. Yeah, there's only a few that
I wish they were uniform about it. Personally, Dr. Bashir, I presume, is the episode right after By Inferno's Light. Which is nuts because that guy's having a crap few months. Like, he gets kidnapped and thrown in this colony, or not a penal colony, in this asteroid prison. And then he's got to come back to the station and deal with whatever messes his doppelganger made. And the very next thing that happens is that he's outed as an augment. That is a crap couple of months.
Hey, you come back from being, incarcerated, and then your commission's on the line.
Yeah.
Okay, I said earlier that we would write these separately, and I think, again, we probably kind of ought to.
Yes.
Do you want to do it before or after we've watched the next part?
I think after I watch the second one, because I want to compare the two.
What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, we can do it after the second one.
That's fine with me. Let's go ahead and take a quick break then, and go ahead and rig up the next episode to timestamp 0, and we will watch that in just a couple of minutes. But I just want to give everybody a chance to go get a bathroom or drink break or whatever, and we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes.
I'm gonna get the DVD.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandon and I are back. We're just waiting.
We're here
for Adam to return, and we're about to start the next episode. Deep Space Nine. We just watched In Purgatory's Shadow. The next episode is by Inferno's Light. You see what they did there? They did like a thing, you know. It's like there's a shadow
and the shadow
and then the light. But it's not like it starts off dark and then it gets, you know, more optimistic because there's like Inferno.
Is it Dante's Inferno?
You know?
All right.
And this show likes to play around. I think that's the implication. Yes, the show likes to play around with darkness and light to the point where they have an episode called "The Darkness and the Light."
Does that mean that the circles of the station are one of the circles of hell?
No, but you could say like the wormhole. You could make an argument of like, is that, you know? It really just depends on where the Pa-wraiths live. No, but they're in like caves.
Yes, the fire caves.
They live in the fire caves. Yeah, it's kind of weird that they are actually on the planet.
Yeah.
And
One second.
I don't know how. Okay, as like alien entities, I don't know how any of that works.
Yeah, I don't know. That's my least favorite plot line of the whole show. How that resolves itself and stuff.
It's a little out there. It's a little over the place.
Well, they just like run out of time and they just shoehorn it in at the very end and stuff. It's very random, you know. They
it
need
just
more.
Feels too mythical for Star Trek.
Yeah,
and it goes a little too far with that.
You're too mythical.
Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment. I'm sorry. What were you saying, Adam?
Yeah. It did, and then it kind of also felt a little anticlimactic because of like they didn't really have the budget to realize what they were doing there too. I felt like it looked kind of like, you know, one of the examples of bad CGI that you were talking about and stuff.
One of the hardest things to render realistically is fire.
Yeah,
it's just not easy. Anyway, let's go ahead and watch this next episode. We're gonna do these two at a time, and here we go. Everybody get ready to press play when I say now, and next time I'll make sure that we've got a counter on the screen. If you need a timestamp, let us know. Is everybody ready?
Is it going to do its previously on?
No.
Yeah.
No?
It is. I think it is.
It is not.
Isn't it?
Mine, not on disc.
Oh. Okay.
I don't think. I'm on a frame that I thought was the start of the episode, but I guess it's possible it's a previous. We'll find out. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. Oh, it is. It is last time on. Okay.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
So you know how I'm always complaining about this, about how shows now they always say previously on, but they don't say what show it is. This is weird. It's like, why is that the thing? It's just previously on, like nothing. If Star Trek had done that, it would have been like it put it on screen. It was last time on,
right?
But it wouldn't say what the show was. You know, meeting room scenes are always more fun with Cisco. He does a lot of, like, pointing and playing with baseballs.
So he's trying to leave... In the previous episode, he was trying to leave the space station. When she wouldn't go with him, he doesn't get on the transport. He goes back into the station. Like, he was literally leaving.
Have you guys ever thought of what would happen if Cisco had the giant meeting room table in Voyager?
My favorite table?
He'd take a space ball and he'd run it down it. And it would like spin around the middle.
That would be funny.
Every time I do a commentary with Brandon about Star Trek, all I can think of is that stupid table.
That's hyperbole, but, you know, you guys bring it up more than I do.
He's obsessed with that table.
He's obsessed with it.
And see, they even have Majel Barrett's voice like they do with regular two-parters in other shows, but it's not called the same thing. It's so weird. Although you can't make the argument that it's a it's kind of a call and answer episode title. So that's good. Like Voyager did that with Hunters and Prey, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But they feel more like two disparate episodes than this does.
Yeah.
Boy, that Klingon Bird of Prey looked really out of proportion compared to the other ships.
They're always like not. It's not consistent on how big they render that ship and stuff.
Truth.
They got scale issues.
Yeah. Going all the way back to when it first showed up in Star Trek 3.
I think
Shut up, O'Brien.
I think Ducat should have gone as far as Kirk did in Star Trek 4 and like write something huge on the side of his Bird of Prey.
Yeah.
The directing in these two episodes is epic. Like that camera move on O'Brien's face is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Nicely done. Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I said earlier that the Cardassians aren't part of the Dominion yet. I forgot that this is where that star is. Which is one of the things that I guess makes this a really good starting place if we're doing, a Dominion War watch.
Yeah.
Because that has to happen before
Yeah.
full-out war breaks out.
Should have locked phasers while you were still talking to him.
Adam, let me ask you this question, because I've never thought about this before. I might say this and then wish I could bring the words back in my mouth because it's stupid. But I never had this thought before. Is there an alternate way to write this show where the Bajorans join the Dominion?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Like in desperation.
That would seem.
They've got
dark,
their kind of
but
crappy
yeah.
provisional government, and like
Yeah.
maybe they would get with anybody in order to preserve their race and make sure that they can't be taken over by their Cardassians again. And I could see it happening maybe shortly after they're joining the Federation falls through.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe may have asked you guys this before, but if you had the opportunity, would you go live on a space station like that?
Would you join the Dominion?
No,
Would you join
not
the Dominion?
The Dominion. No, would you go live on a space station at the edge of Federation space? I think it'd be fascinating.
I think it's safer than living on a starship.
Or because
Yeah.
it's stationary. You're
Yeah.
not always being thrown into the neutral zone.
Yeah, if
Right. Or if you're the Enterprise D, just randomly breaking down from magic space dust being poured on you, or
Yeah, I'd be like, get me off of this
running
ship.
into two-dimensional aliens or whatever.
If you take your
a quantum string or whatever the hell
if
it
you
is.
take your family to live on the Enterprise like that, that is tantamount to child abuse.
I know.
Like,
They could be sued.
Yeah, it's like, why are there so many civilians on this ship they always send into hostile
no,
territory?
they're like, well, and also just exploring dangerous regions of space and
Right.
stuff.
Space anomalies.
We're
Here's
back
that
on
asteroid.
this great-looking
Back on the
asteroid.
asteroid.
Adam March, it would be cooler to live on a starship. Yes, but more dangerous though.
JG.
Okay,
Hustler.
so Tain is just already dead, right?
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah, he died at the end of the last episode.
His last words were, "I was proud of you that day."
I thought his last words were, "We should have gotten that abortion." I thought that was
No.
I thought that's
Are you
what
being
he-
serious
I thought
right
that's
now?
what he said. Well, he basically said
Something
that.
like
He
that,
did, but
yeah.
then he talked about the day in the field when Garrick was 5, and he goes, "I was proud of you that day."
Oh yeah, I forgot he said that.
Like
Okay.
it was the one thing he
the
could
thing
muster.
that stuck with me was we should have
Like
gotten
that was the
abortion.
day I was proud of you,
I
and then it
should've gotten it.
all crumbled.
Adam March, risk is our business. Yeah, but not
Risk
like it's not the
is our
business of a
business.
random family that just wants to live on a cruise ship. I would not bring my family with me if I was working as a engineer or a cook or something on a starship.
He's John Jacob Jingleheimer Garrick. If he can't do it, nobody can.
Yeah.
It's a cook. The Enterprise D didn't have a guy. I know that, okay? I understand. Stop giving the audience exposition.
Huh?
Same writers.
Yeah.
Is it the same director?
I don't know.
How's he gonna know who's a Cardassian?
They know who the Cardassians are.
But anyone could be a shapeshifter.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert.
Congratulations.
Austin has really rubbed off on me.
Now,
What
do-
species
do
was
any-
that guy? See that guy on the left with the what is that guy? Is that
the
just a
left?
fat Cardassian?
I don't know what that guy is. There's a bunch of randos in there. Look at that.
Yeah,
A
I
fat
can't
Dacian.
tell if that's just some other race or a really fat Cardassian.
Boy, that's an ugly looking Wayun. Vorta.
That's a Vorta.
Yeah, I guess
Wayun
it's
is
not
not
Wayun?
the name of the
An
star.
I
ugly
know.
looking
Yeah, Vorta. I got it.
This
I,
is
I
how much-
corrected myself.
This
before
is
you
how much
said it.
Deep Space Nine
Matt
Brandon
painting.
has watched.
Matt painting.
Yep.
Alert. That's the picture on the cover page of Attention Bajoran Workers.
Cardassia feels like the most. Yeah, it feels like the most Orwellian planet in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They've got they've got big TVs in the sides of all of their buildings just for
Yeah.
propaganda from the government. Like that's scary.
Yeah.
It's a regular animal farm.
Oh my God, he's got the plot of the Penguin at the end of Batman Returns.
People of Gotham. I give it to you. The people.
The people. I played this stinking city like a heart from hell.
For all our sons.
Natural born sons of Cardassia.
Okay.
Thanks, Cisco.
That
that's
was
against
kind of an odd
Starfleet
line
regs.
delivery. Every now and again, I feel like I can kind of peer in Avery Brooks' brain and see the lines that he's not sure why he's having to say, or that he thinks are kind of silly. Where he goes like overly dramatic,
Do you think
Yeah.
Avery Brooks being as
which just makes you want to see Avery Brooks in Star Trek Discovery or Picard or something, like having to read some of that dialogue. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
for this show, do you think Avery Brooks being the way that he is, that you know him in like in interviews and stuff, do you think he's the right choice for this role?
Well, yeah.
Of course.
Look, just because he's a crazy person doesn't make him a bad actor.
No, I didn't
He wasn't
say
that weird when the show was on either. I don't know
No,
what happened to him.
something happened to him. But he's got some odd line deliveries here and there, like all the way through
yeah.
the show.
He goes like that.
Uh-oh.
He always looks like he's gonna kill somebody too.
He's got dead
eyes. Like you said, like he's gonna fight someone.
Or just the occasional place where just out of nowhere he'd get really excited and go, "Hoo!"
We gotta watch that show sometime. It's on Tubi now. The Spencer for Hire
Okay,
show. where he
there's our
does...
thumbnail for today.
Oh, that one
yes,
right there.
Adam, let's do that. You're talking about Spencer for Hire.
Yes, Avery.
Have you ever seen an episode of that?
No, but I saw this like 2-hour-long compilation, like parts of it on YouTube of just Avery Brooks in that show. And every time he comes in a room, it's like Spencer, hey Spencer,
So the,
Spencer, and he's like affirmative.
Oh,
the
dear.
thing that makes Garrick most sympathetic for me is that I'm also claustrophobic.
He's using like fiber optic cable for lighting.
They put him in the boo box.
Oh yeah, this is.
So
the
they got a
second time
brain
we
in
ever
there?
saw a brain. Yeah.
So they turn their backs on the Breen?
No, the
Yeah.
Breen have not joined the Dominion. That
No,
happens
not
right.
yet.
Right, that happens.
This is
later.
the second.
How does a brain get captured though?
Not till season 7 near the very end.
That's what I think. Yeah, because that's a big turning point.
Yeah.
And isn't that like right after the fall of Beta Z?
So after all that, well, yeah, basically.
Because the big reveal is they're attacking Earth and the Brain are there with them. Isn't that what it is?
Well, that I think might be. Well, that's part of it. But then I think before that, the Federation tried to do that Battle of Shintaka, and that's where they have that energy weapon that disables all their ships, basically.
We'll get into all this later. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're revealing everything that happens.
Yeah.
We were going to not do that. It's hard not to.
Ikateka.
You tell him, Worf.
Okay, so wait, he lost his eye here?
Yes.
Yeah,
that much I remembered.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah,
remember
he didn't have a
that.
missing eye when he was a shapeshifter and stuff.
That's right. I forgot about that. So, what do you guys think? Should they have had him get an eye patch bolted to his head?
Yeah.
I mean, in classic Klingon fashion.
Like General Chang?
General
You know,
Chang.
the most Klingon name.
That's the most
Chang.
Klingon name, Chang.
He's an
But at
Asian
least
Klingon.
I guess it's marginally better than Captain Claw. Or your
But
favorite.
Claw, no, because Claw at least still sounds like a Klingon. It's silly,
Yeah.
but it still sounds like a Klingon
Or your
name.
favorite, Clang.
Clang. It's better than Azitbor, though, from the same movie. They don't know how to name Klingons in that damn movie, man. They can't do it.
That was the Klingons in that movie seem a little off, just in general
They
and
seem
stuff.
very off. And
You might as
speaking
well
of that,
just call them
Klingon,
a Von Trapp.
Worf's shirt here is the color of Klingon blood in Star Trek 6.
This is not Klingon blood.
That's very true.
Okay, do you think they've gone a little bit too far in trying to make Bashir look like gruff and unkempt? Like,
Yeah, they made him look like hell.
There's a fine line though between looking like hell and looking like a production department is trying to make you look like you've gone through hell. And I don't know where that line is. It's case by case, and in this particular case, for me it's moving toward that latter thing.
Yeah.
As your doctor, rest.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
Adam March, Chang is cool though. Chang is very cool. Chang's the only Klingon that can get away with spinning in a chair and it doesn't look too silly. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of the better... I guess I can't call this exactly an Underground Fight Club episode, but it feels like one of those.
You don't talk about Fight Club.
At least experience.
You know, like Sukatsu, that's an Underground Fight Club episode.
That episode's so crazy.
Hal Murray.
The Rock is in that episode. That's so.
But it's got Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, it does.
It's got Jeffrey Combs like 115th Star Trek character.
Yeah.
Good thing we didn't destroy it, right?
Yeah, right.
That's a good line. It is. It is wet.
It is wet.
It is wet. But that was a good line.
I don't detect a lot of anger in Kira's voice, though. Like, I would expect her to be more fly off the handle.
She's talking to his daughter.
And I get that.
Yes. And that is why you are not an evil man. Yeah, no, she's putting the kid gloves on here. If Kira is pretty tactical past the first season about the way she talks to different people.
Did you just
That's
describe
like-
her talking style as tactical? That's great.
Well, yeah. I mean, tactical and tactful, right? Like
Yes.
early on, she's obnoxious about just how easily she will fly off the handle.
Oh yeah,
and
oh,
like
yeah. She's become more reserved.
I hate her early on. That's a character that, as she evolved, I liked more and more.
Well, she's a hard Scrabble Bajoran terrorist, right?
And I'm probably I thought you were gonna go to Scrabble champion, and I
A hard Scrabble champion. She knows how to spell a good
know
essay.
if she's any good at that, but no, that's one of the reasons I'm glad that
It's
went.
3D Scrabble.
That's
yeah.
one of the reasons I'm glad I went all the way to 6 and 7 and then went back. Because
Yeah.
I had to see where they took her before I could appreciate that character.
Yeah.
But look how good the continuity is, guys.
Yeah. Here it is.
Can we make a 3D Scrabble game?
I don't know what the point of that would be.
Go with the 3D chess.
Oh, I forgot this is where we put the
Yeah. This is when they renew
the
it,
alliance back
basically.
together. Yeah. And you can never trust Gowron because he's so calculating.
And because he's crazy.
He's crazy,
crazy-eyed.
but he's also one of the. He's probably the best like stand-in for a. I don't know, for like a U.S. politician.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a quintessential Klingon, though, right?
Like that's.
Yeah.
But he's a
And-
quintessential like everything that's wrong with.
He's the
with
hypocritical
Kronos at that
Klingon,
point, Klingon, right?
about
Where
their
he-
politics and stuff. He's like the embodiment of that. Just
That's
like
it.
just like
Bureaucracy
Kempek
and
was before him and stuff, you know.
he's the. People like him are the reason that Kronos is on the verge of civil
Verge of
war.
all the having problems all the time.
Because he doesn't really believe in honor. He just
It's a means
is
to an end.
pragmatic and
Yeah.
it's all about ends justifies the means, and his own personal gain, like those ends, not even for the greater good. He doesn't
And
actually really care
he
about that.
seeks power. That's
But
why.
there are various scenes where he'll make you kind of believe that because he's good at tugging at like the Klingon heartstrings.
Mhm.
Like he superficially gets
He knows
tradition.
what to say. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not really what he's about.
Yeah.
And that's why you need Martok.
Yes.
And why you ultimately needed Worf in this show,
Right.
because even though it seemed like maybe not the best idea when it happened and kind of just a gimmick, there's so much that was left undone with the Klingons in TNG that bringing Worf in let us get to, and one of them was all that political stuff that we did a decent amount with, but there was so much left to do. And you've got to have Martok to see the other side of Gowron.
Right.
There you go,
Mm.
Worf.
Your line is, I have redundant ribs. I'm a Klingon.
In glorious battle.
See, again, difference between Martok and Gowron. Gowron would have been like, okay, but can I live long enough to get reelected? That's
Yeah. He's talking to the fiber optic cable. He's going crazy.
I think those cables are giving a magnificent performance right now.
Yeah.
Niggling. That's
It's
good.
only, it's
that's
only
good
sidetracked
choice.
by giving massive amounts of exposition on my past life.
Right.
His split personalities coming into. This is like original anxiety
Well,
attacks.
and this is all a lot more dramatic and awful, like right after your dad dies.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Because now there's more stakes on the line, even.
Yeah, this is crazy. Why did they leave the runabout within range of them to be able to do this, I guess?
I love the camera work here, you guys.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
This is well, and I was going to complain for a second that it doesn't feel claustrophobic enough when we backed off. And that,
But then he pushes in.
then
with
you
the
push all the
camera.
way
They
in, and then
built
I'm
while
like,
he's
this little
doing this.
confined
It's
set
great,
for him
yeah.
to be in.
it's great. I have redundant ribs. It's fine.
Don't they show like the inside of a Klingon one time, and their ribs are like a honeycomb almost, or some crazy thing like that?
He's making so much noise. Oh my
I
god.
feel like it was on Voyager or something, like the Doctor shows like a holographic.
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna
or
say
something like
ethics,
that.
but I think you're right. I think that's another place. There's
Yeah.
another place in Voyager where we get. I don't know where. Maybe it's the. Is it the episode with the parasite on B'Elanna?
Yeah, it could have been that one. Yeah.
It might have been that one.
That's a lot of noise.
And that
what
guy,
is this
Krell
extra
Moset.
access panel?
Call me Krell.
So I want to go through the history and timeline of every major character in DS9 at some point, Adam, and figure out who has had the most traumatic time and most needs a therapist. Because
Yeah.
this is also not the first time that Bashir has been captured by the Dominion and put in a camp.
Right.
Remember the whole thing with the Ketracel White?
Oh yeah, that whole thing, and that renegade Jim Hadar
That wants him to
was
come up
trying
with a
to
cure for Ketracel White, for the
or,
addiction.
and yeah, a methadone for Ketracel White or whatever, basically.
So it's just barely noticeable there, but Garrick is wide awake, able to hear everything they say.
Or he's not hearing them because he's in like a
Catatonic.
daze.
Maybe.
Gahuli. Well, obviously the most traumatic stuff that's probably happened is at least within the show, it's probably Miles.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, nobody gets as many like evil duplicates as Miles. That's
Well, yeah, and then
that's the
technically,
first
like,
thing.
one of the Miles died, and we got to say it was, people always give like crap. Oh, we got a second Harry Kim or whatever, and
We had
stuff
5
because of
Harry
that.
Kims.
The same thing happens to O'Brien too.
Yep.
Well, he's one of the most important people in the universe.
I think Bashir might ultimately have it rougher than O'Brien, but not by much.
Yeah. Yes, because in the whole Section 31 crap and stuff that comes up too.
He just gets kicked in the teeth over
He's-
and over
I
again
know.
by the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. Are
Well,
you
to the
aboard
point where
now?
do you
Your
remember?
recognition is irrelevant.
Do you remember in the documentary that Bear made that part of their pitch for an 8th season made 20 years later was Bashir is revealed to be the like the series big bad working for Section 31,
Yeah,
and it's
something like-
awesome.
Yeah.
So like, I think they would argue that he's the one that most gets his teeth kicked in,
That's true.
because it's all that stuff that would make us buy he would get there.
Yeah.
So what he doesn't seem to fundamentally understand is that the Federation isn't going to give in to, a force that doesn't share its ideals, that is diametrically opposed to itself.
Now, that was great line delivery.
Thanks for the reminder. Sure. That sounds like a threat.
Well, yeah, Cisco doesn't take well to threats.
Nope.
And he's one of those guys that's not gonna give in to to terrorists and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I mean, he will
I love
invite
that-
you
I
to show,
love
and
how
he will
Mark
just punch
Tucker-
you in the face because that's what he does.
I love how Martok immediately takes to Worf and starts liking it, and they become.
Immediately, it's like they've known each other their whole lives or
Yeah.
something. Or like he's one of his sons. I mean, I always
Yeah.
thought that Martok was kind of a father figure for Worf.
Yeah.
Better be a Klingon opera.
Exactly.
So I love this kind of pomp and circumstance of like the old, medieval bard type, writing a song about these. I do love that kind of lore and that kind of, just.
Well, and Adam's right. Like, you need Martok also because we've had so many, like, kind of, like, conniving Klingons.
Yes, all throughout TNG.
That we don't have enough Klingons that actually are the epitome of
genuinely honorable,
right?
What they claim to be about, and I've always liked the idea that the whole empire is just in denial about what it is, and like the Vulcans have that to some degree too. With the whole like we don't have feelings, we're all logic, and it's all it's kind of a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah,
kind of, you know what I mean? It's kind of BS, but it's obviously worse with the Klingons, but like you appreciate their culture more when you realize that there are people like Martok that actually live up to it.
Right. Exactly.
The ideals, the long-held ideals.
Yeah, like Adam, I would say that Martok is just like T'Pau. She's all of Kronos in one package.
Right.
So I realize that the founders have trained for espionage and things like this, but shouldn't like Bashir's closest friends be able to tell something?
This handles it better than a lot of things I've seen. Where he's not so obviously mustache twirly that people shouldn't catch it right away. Like we just did a blank commentary stream last week on a couple of episodes of Gotham, and there's this
again, why?
There's this episode. Well, you know, we're primarily a superhero channel, and Jason hadn't seen that show, and it was funny. But there's an episode where Clayface is pretending to be Gordon, and it's so like cartoonishly over the top obvious that he's got this like twitch that he does, and he talks with this hilarious gruff voice, and yeah, it's great. So that's one of the last things I watched before this. So this looks positively sophisticated in comparison. But I don't mean to be a hypocrite. I did say that as soon as you know he's playing it a little differently.
Oh yeah.
And he is, but it's not Smallville bad.
No.
It's not Gotham bad. Wait. Admiral Gilhooly?
Gahooly. Gahooly.
What is that Gahooly?
There's a bar called Gahooly here in Kansas City, I think.
Oh, okay. I've never heard that.
You talk and you talk, but you have no gramba.
You got no gramba!
I have no gramba.
Uman dam jat. Or you could conversely say...
You were programmed. That's what I was going to say.
You could say that was an act of unmitigated gall.
You know, I can't decide if it's the actors that they hire or the makeup, but most Vortas have the most punchable faces.
Yeah.
No, I mean they're just truly
They're
they
so
look
slimy.
like a punching bag. Why are their ears so slicked back?
He's all like condescending. So I've never liked the green helmet design.
I think it's
It
fascinating.
looks like that guy, in Star Wars.
That's what's distracting about it. It's the Leia disguise.
Yeah.
From Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But I guess Turnabout is fair play because Star Wars did it with the Gorn.
That's true.
I thought you were going to say Turnabout in Trigger.
Like Star Wars just has a Gorn in it. With one of the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Is this a Romulan or a Vulcan? This is a Romulan.
The Romulan. She's one of the people, presumably survivors of that task force or whatever.
This show doesn't go to Romulus a lot, but they end up being kind of important in the Dominion War.
Oh.
And maybe the best episode of the show is a Romulan episode.
Yeah.
Within the Pale Moonlight, which we have done on Star Trek Club, but of course we'll do it again. So there are probably 5 or 6 episodes from this period that we've covered before that we'll just have to do again.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, it's now or never, guys.
I think this has Klingon operas on it.
This is not Klingon blood. It's a hook for opening the panel on the wall.
Bashir's line is, you know what, after all the crap I've been through, I don't know if I actually want to live anymore. I think I'm good. So I don't think I ever appreciated just how much crap he takes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's bad. But I like what you said earlier about, on screen or not. Because if you add in everything on screen, it gets tougher, right? Like, Kira's had a real rough life.
Right.
But I think her life is relatively benign in the seven seasons of the show compared to her terrorist days.
Right.
Oh, yeah. She's gone straight.
But I'm just saying that I don't think as much horrible stuff happens to her.
Mm-hmm.
But does to some other characters. Like,
except when she finds out her mom and... Whoa, I don't want to spoil that.
Yeah. Stop spoiling things.
Oh, that was nice shadow work.
Yeah.
The pylon had a shadow from the runabout.
Adam Art says Bosk looks different enough from the Gorn, though. Yeah, but he still looks...
Oh, look, there's an Excelsior.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is an Excelsior ship. This is back in the day where we didn't just copy and paste the same ship across, like we did in Picard.
Yeah.
Adam March, Cap's disregard for Bosk rivals his Max Rebo omission from the Naked Blue characters list. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I totally shafted that guy from the Naked Blue character video. Yeah, DJ and I did a video ranking Naked Blue characters.
Wait.
Are there that many that warrant video?
Dude, we found like 35.
Who just
Not
told
just
Cisco?
blue characters, but naked ones.
Wait,
it's
second.
amazing.
Who just told Cisco that Dominions
What,
were
were you like
Dominions were 10
Dr.
minutes away?
Manhattan, I guess? Yeah.
I'll send you the link. You can see what we put on it. I'm sorry, what about Dominions?
Who just
The Dominion is not a species.
Who just told Cisco that the Dominion people were about 10 minutes away?
They
That's
get
Kira's
from-
voice, right?
It
But
was
didn't
Bashir
the fake-
pretending to be Kira.
Yeah, but why would he have done that?
Because he's trying to, like...
But to not know anything would not tip him off.
Well,
He could've
he's
just
trying to
not
go
said
do
anything.
something, Brandon. You had to see. He's going to go do something crazy. He's doing a distraction.
All right.
That's why
You
he took
don't
a
have to
runabout.
get your ass kicked anymore, Worf. It's okay. Adam March, lots of Dominions.
Whoa.
The Dominions are coming! Ah,
Ah.
finish him.
Finish him. Fight.
Fatality.
He pulls out his still pumping heart.
Oh yeah, Robert, I forgot you suggested the Naked Blue characters list. We gotta find some more stupid stuff like that to do. That was great.
None of them are acting like, what the hell is this thing?
And Adam, I kid you not, we got an hour and a half out of that topic. Yes, we
Uh-oh.
did.
Finally, the brain
Boom.
does something. Shoot.
That's what it
Almost said a
did.
bad word.
That's what it did.
Oh,
though.
that's funny.
It shot.
Huh.
That is indeed what
Yeah.
happened. Oh, here we go, folks. Here comes the action.
Are they gonna hide the bodies in the crawl space?
You know, I said these 2 episodes have good production value, and I
Yeah.
mean they do.
They're turning back on a brain.
But it's a relatively small episode, weirdly.
It feels a lot bigger, but yeah, it is a
Well, because
small.
we're still doing stuff on the station,
It's-
though. It's not technically a bottle episode.
No, it's
No.
not. But this stuff is still pretty minimal.
No, it is.
Isn't
it is.
it?
But it's good set work, too.
Yeah.
And it's good framing. It makes it feel like there's a lot more going on. Boy, this Vorta's just like, the Klingon
hell?
gets up again.
He's just mildly amused.
Oh yeah, this part's cold-blooded.
Man, that guy looks a little bit like Phil Morris. I wonder who that actor is. But it's hard to see actors through Jim Hadar makeup.
No, yeah.
Because it's very thick. Okay, so, Adam, you said that we cast Jim Hadar bigger earlier on, but I wonder if there's still a particular...
That was Hirogen that they cast
Hirogen.
earlier on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering with Jim Hadar if it's like the Klingons where there's a particular like height and build that you have to audition.
Yeah. The Hirogen was too... Oh yeah, shoot them both.
I bet they had a mandate with that, don't you think?
Look at that. That's cold-blooded. That's like
That
Raiders
was
of the
not
Lost Ark.
a microsecond too soon.
Shoot them both.
Do you think that plasma ball went
That's
to the
also like
transporter
Star
beam?
Trek 6. Except they wanted
Oh,
to be
yeah.
beamed at that point. It wasn't
Does-
like, oh, would you like me to send you back?
If there's nobody
Damn
on the
it,
other end of
damn
the
it,
transporter,
damn
can
it,
they
damn
deactivate the energy from the weapon?
Couldn't
Because
you
that
wait?
usually has to be done manually by somebody like Chief O'Brien, right?
That is above my pay grade. I couldn't tell you that.
There's an
don't know.
energy weapon in the data stream. Like, shut it down. The data stream. That is data in the stream.
That's true. Data stream with data in it.
Oh yeah, with Data and Solve
Kivas Faggio, the most toys. Comes up a lot lately.
Why does that keep coming up? I feel like just last week
It
we were
was.
talking about
I-
Kivas Faggio.
I did. It was the last thing I said. I was
Yeah.
Kivas Faggio up in this B. I bring him up a lot though. Because the guy who played Kivas Faggio was also on Frasier, and I think he's a fun character actor.
Saul Rubivnik.
Yeah, he mostly does comedy
Yeah,
stuff.
he's done a lot of stuff.
Lots of
Do you ever see the movie Dick? He played Henry Kissinger in that.
Really?
Does he really?
Yeah.
Kissinger just died recently.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Dr.
This is the
Bashir is not.
Scooby-Doo
I could have
moment.
told you
man.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
If only we'd said, well, yeah, because we do that all the time. If only we, I thought to say that 15 minutes ago.
So wait, it's thinking that was real Dr. Bashir when it should know. They should be able to set their sensors to like detect biosigns, shouldn't they?
Maybe they can emulate the biosigns.
That's the thing is they can emulate the
Ah,
biosigns
okay.
with.
The only way that
They
can
established
detect
that at the beginning of the
a
season.
shapeshifter
Gotcha.
to shoot him with a phaser, basically.
Yeah,
well,
so
they
what
can
they'll
check
do
their
is
blood, right?
Well, then
And-
that doesn't
and they-
even work
and
because
they
they tested
do
Markov's blood in that episode, and he had blood. So that, as Joseph Sisko says, I could just take someone's blood and hold it inside me, or something like that.
That's what I was going to say. Is
Yeah.
they would take. What I would imagine they do is if they could get a hold of you, they would take some of your biomatter and incorporate it with their own.
Hold it inside of
But I would think that unless they could mimic your DNA as shapeshifters, the amount of blood you have in you should make a difference. I would think.
Sure, yeah.
So I don't. There's a conceit here
Right,
at some
cool.
point, right? Like
That's a heck of a tractor beam.
that's really cool.
That is cool.
Boom.
That the explosion was not though.
No.
Yeah, he was gonna.
Speaking of bad CG,
They just ran out of money in this episode. Did you notice that? That's where the money ran out.
That's where the money ran out.
It's gone.
Yeah.
the people running the CG are like, F this. We're out. Cosmic background radiation.
Yeah, that was comically low key.
The
that explosion.
CBR. Yeah, considering, it was supposed to blow up the sun.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you, Cisco, for explaining the plot of the episode. That's good.
That's
That's
a
a
line
good line.
straight out of the
Armageddon.
movie. Armageddon will have to wait. Like Bruce Willis delivery.
I was very cynical about it, but here I am. That's a great look.
He's like, oh.
He did it twice too. That was great.
Oh yeah, they do address it. Oh
Yeah, and that's the secret to the show is as dark and envelope pushy as it gets. Why are you doing that?
just because.
Okay, as dark and envelope pushy. I'm so confused. As this show will get,
That's the kind of rapport they have.
The levity is always there.
Yeah.
Softball punches.
Robert O'Reilly, what is this sudden accent you're doing? Like,
He's Irish Klingon.
like
now.
he's always putting on a little bit of
Natural-born son of Klingon.
Something is off.
Kronos.
Something is off in that performance.
Yeah. It sounds like Scottish almost. Ah.
He's like, I'm
I
gonna
don't
try
know.
a thing. Let me know if you're okay with it.
So this admittedly is kind of a sequel to the first episode of the season, which makes me sort of wish we'd started there, but I didn't want to skip around. Because I didn't think we needed to really watch everything in between necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to note that Gowron is first introduced to this show in that episode.
He's introduced in season 4 in that.
Oh, is he
yeah, so
even
we had to
earlier?
go back to the Way of the Warrior.
Oh, he is in Way of the Warrior. I
He's
forgot
in
about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Okay, but he is in the episode with the bomb, which is
Come
great.
with me. Come with me, Ward. Glory to Cardassian.
Okay, now do it with a slight Irish accent.
Last chance to be a hero, Doctor.
Wait, did he basically just kind of do the equivalent of one man's trash is another man's
Yeah.
treasure?
Yeah.
Did his camera move
Cardassia, great.
when he got towards it? I think the angle changed.
Yeah, it did. As they so often do with these recording devices.
Well, they'll do that a lot when you're just looking at things happening where it's like you're watching a TV show. We don't do it a lot when it's like ship to ship, when like it's like person talking to another person.
Mm-hmm.
Not since like TNG season 1.
TNG
That was
did it
weird.
A lot.
No, I'm surprised they did that. Oh my god. All right. Well, that was a great start. That was a lot of fun.
We did it.
No, I'm glad we started there.
Good choice, Adam.
Yep, that was a good idea. Adam, I'm pumped for this, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
time
that
to
was
take
fun.
these off.
And that just flew by.
Yeah, it did.
This is going to be fun and I think really easy.
Or did you have
Yeah.
doubts?
No, not really. It was just more fun than I even expected it to be. I missed the show. And also, since we're doing our silly New Trek thing over on Patreon, it's like it's like this weird contrast. We're watching Star Trek that makes no sense to me whatsoever, and then I get to come back to this, which is refreshingly straightforward.
It's a nice
and thought-provoking
of the pain we go through.
Well, that's why I want to do that show right after we do this, because as much as it kind of sucks to watch something great like this and then go to Discovery, at least I'm not just watching Discovery. You know what I mean? But it might make me even more negative on that show.
Maybe.
Which is why I'm not
Because you'll
doing
be
it on
comparing it
the main
hardcore to
channel. It'll be hard not to.
Oh, of course.
It'll be hard not to. No, this whole experiment is going to blow up and be
The
a really
idea
bad
behind
idea.
the
I
other
think.
show is to get you so down and out that you're just like, give me a phaser.
Is that the idea?
No, it's not the idea.
Oh man, that is a really weird, elaborate way to murder someone. Like to try to convince me to commit suicide through having to watch New Trek. I just feel like there's gotta be but there's gotta be easier ways to go about that.
Yes, but the subterfuge that gets you off the hook in the end,
It's more entertaining for the audience. For the 42 people that are watching that show, it's more entertaining than if you simply picked up a knife and stabbed me
You're
in the
doing that
face.
for only 42
huh?
viewers.
42?
Yeah, well, it's Patreon, so like so far.
No, but I mean, isn't
true.
that the number of the universe?
So far, a little over half of Patreon has watched that first episode, so that's why I said 42.
No, that's cool. It's a good number to pick.
Yeah. It's probably
What's the
more like.
number that always appears in Star Trek? What is that number?
What is a number that always appears in Star Trek?
I can't remember.
Isn't it threes in that Data episode?
Well, yeah, but
No,
what are
there's
you
another
talking
random
about?
like 20 something or something like that. I don't remember.
Oh,
what,
really?
30. Yeah, they like put it like Okuda and a bunch of them would always put it in things.
Oh yeah. There's an
Yeah.
Okuda number. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. And the Nemesis couldn't get away from X's. That was weird.
Yeah. And
Anyway,
it was 10.
guys, let's go around and get ratings. And if you're still watching with us live, feel free to put in your ratings too. We rate on the old 0 to 4 scale, and you can do 0.5s in the middle of that as well. And we're gonna start with. I want to start with Brandon since he's watching these. Some of them for the first time. So
The first one for the first time, juxtaposing it against the second episode, I'm going to give the second episode a 3.5. I liked it slightly better than the first episode, which I'm going to actually give a 3.25. Not even a 3.
Are you
I'm
gonna
going
go
to
that way?
he's gonna give it infinite decimal points here.
he's gonna go to.
He's
Well,
ruined
remember
your
in our old Star Trek club,
3 repeating.
in our old Star Trek club, people would occasionally rate with pi. That was a thing.
Yes, but I'm going to go 3.25 because I liked it. It wasn't an entire half less worse for me. It wasn't worse, but it was like I just like that one ever so slightly better. But it's not a 4 and it's not a 3.
I want you to make an album called Half Less Worst. I think that's a really good
Less
album
Worst.
title.
Okay. And what kind of music is it?
Half Less Worst. No idea. Polkas.
Dubstep.
Dubstep polka. There you go.
Dubstep polka.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
Okay.
Adam, how do you rate these two episodes?
I think I'd probably both give them a 3.5. I think I liked them both as one story. You know, it's done pretty well. It does kind of end for pretty easily, I guess, for them to be able to get all the way back to DS9. But I mean, that happens a lot on this show and stuff that they're able to escape.
The 5-minute wrap up.
It is a little 5-minute wrap-up-y.
But yeah, it was good. It was a good introduction of Martok. It brought in a lot of things that had been addressed earlier and stuff like Gnabrantane and and the stuff with Zial that was going on and everything. It's definitely good. Yeah, good. Finally upping the stakes in the Dominion War.
We've got a lot of consensus. Clone Army 3066 says 3.5 for both. Adam March says 3.5 for the whole two-part. I think I agree with you guys, too. I think I'll also say 3.5 for both. This is... I mean, it's not fair to compare this to other, like, two-parters in Star Trek shows that aren't DS9, because DS9 is so serialized, is so archy. But it is kind of impressive, the standard of quality between these two episodes, and you got to appreciate the consistency since we actually have the same two writers on both shows.
Right.
So the caliber of writing and keeping all the continuity straight, and giving every character consistent and separate voices, unique voices, that's all really good. So I don't know if I can put one over the other. And I don't know, in some ways I think I like the first part a little bit more than the second, just because I don't know if the setup is better than the payoff, but then it does kind of have that 5-minute wrap up, which maybe brings it down just a little bit.
Sure.
But then the second episode gets quite a bit done too. So I don't know. And then just the way it's juggling a lot of characters is really impressive, which the show often does really well. But I was kind of surprised by whenever we would kind of like bring somebody in that we haven't, like check in with somebody that we haven't dealt with in a while, like O'Brien, and we never lose the we never lose the personal touch. We never lose like the personal stakes.
Right.
And so we don't go to O'Brien just for exposition. We got to check in on how he like how his kid is feeling about things. Like we even take the time to go, how's Molly doing?
Right.
Like that's nice. You gotta appreciate that.
That means that the founder did their research, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he might have been there when they gave birth to the baby and stuff,
I think how
Kiryoshi
ambiguous
or whatever. Yeah.
Kiryoshi, how ambiguous are we about how far back Bashir gets kidnapped?
I mean,
It has to at least be 5
Gets
episodes,
abducted.
I think, or something like
But
that.
do they ever
Yeah.
tell you for sure where it is?
I mean, they mention what he was doing. Does that show up in
No.
the show?
No.
Okay.
That's the thing is I think it's a little ambiguous. I think you'd
But
have
he
to.
says something about how long he's been there. He did
But
say
they
that
don't
when
say
they
that within relation to the other stuff. You don't know when
to
that
specific
conflict-
episodes, yeah.
right. Yes.
So what
that's
I'm saying
true.
is, if you go back, it would be difficult to tell. He's definitely Bashir in this particular episode, but right before it,
Right.
or
Now,
right,
that's-
right
Yeah,
after
that's-
it, he's not.
That's
I don't know
saying
if
that
we
they
could
had
find
this.
that.
They
You wouldn't be
definitely
able
had
to
this
tell them
framework
the
in
uniform.
place.
You could
Change.
nail it down
Right.
between a couple, but Adam is suggesting that it's a little bit retroactive
Okay.
because
It could
there's
have been, yeah.
there's a couple of things that happen where it's kind of crazy that it was a shapeshifter.
So
Right.
they may have come up with this plot point after they wrote some of the previous episodes and then said, okay, it happened a little bit
Yeah.
back, but we're not going to tell you exactly where, just so that it's still plausible
Yeah.
that it was Bashir for this event, but maybe not this event.
It's definitely somewhat retroactive.
Well, I also say that, like we talked at the end, though.
Because again, it means that the shapeshifter delivered Kiriyoshi,
Gotcha.
right?
I think I don't remember what episode that happens in.
If
It's,
that's right, there's no way they knew that.
I wonder if there's a way to definitively pinpoint it.
wait, did
Or did Bashir deliver
Bashir deliver
Kiriyoshi?
that baby? Yeah, because something have like a midwife or something, and they do like this
Yeah, I forgot about
dung thing or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and she gives birth standing up, I think.
Yes.
God, it's been a while.
Now we had the kind of levity, or that, where O'Brien's talking to Bashir at the end, like, I lived with this other, like, talked to this other guy for so long, like, I should have known all the signs were there. Do you feel like we should have gotten a similar thing with Garrick, or maybe we should have only explored that with Garrick? Like, Garrick, like, he's prided himself on a life of being able to read people.
It would have been nice to check on him with that too.
Yeah, like this is a major blow to his, like his sensibilities should be shattered on one hand.
That's just a time issue. I bet they wanted to put that scene in.
It may be,
Yeah,
but they wanted to keep it light at the end. So
That's
they
an-
went with.
That's an
O'Brien.
excellent point, though. Yeah. Well, and also it's kind of weird that you check in with Bashir at the end, but not. Well, you do get Garrick with Zial.
Yes.
So I guess it would have just been a little bit. I was
It
going to
just
say
kept it
awkward.
lighter.
It's kind of right, but I think it's more a matter of, like I said, just time, because all you have to do is organize your scenes so that they have that discussion before the lighter scenes.
That's
They
true.
could have done that. It's just a time issue. Adam Mart says 3.5 for the number of Dominions present.
Oh yeah, audience welcome to rate this as well.
They're not gonna let you live that down.
Yes, I mean, hey, no, I thought it was funny. The Dominions.
Well, everybody, no, Adam March already put in his earlier. He's just turning the knife about the Dominions. Anyway, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. We're gonna bid you adieu, and then Brandon and I are gonna go over and do our show on Patreon
For just $2.
So we're gonna open with a half an hour of discussion about whatever Brandon feels like talking about.
Because
So
I'm cheap.
if
I'm a
you-
cheap date.
So if you don't want to talk, so if you don't want to deal with New Trek, that's cool. You can just hang out for that first half hour, and you watch live, you watch after the fact. But come check it out, and we'll be back with this again real soon. Thanks a lot for watching. I was Captain Logan. We had Brandon Graham.
We had me. I'm number 1
And-
on my shirt.
and Adam Meredith. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Adam.
I don't know what
Just
I don't know what
dead
that
air.
was.
I don't know. I had this in my hand. I was like, bye.
Oh,
Oh, no, it disappeared. We
it
couldn't see
disappeared.
it.
We didn't see it.
That was the disc.
I had no idea.
That
we
we
were...
had, just like you're just sitting there, like you
He's
froze.
like this.
Froze on camera. Like, do we lose him?
I should do that just to mess with you sometime. Pretend to freeze.
Oh no, I've had people do that.
We'll call you.
It's always
We'll call you a
hilarious.
founder clone of Adam here.
Well, it would be a clone.
Well, okay. Yes.
It'd be a
okay.
doppelganger,
Doppelganger,
not a
yeah.
clone.
A
Anyway,
doppelganger.
thanks for being here, folks. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.